Discouragement, intimidation, and blackmail today on another episode of the Bible in 1 year with the preacher's husband. Today we're going through Nehemiah chapter 6 and 7. Tomorrow we're going to go through chapters 8 through 10. So let's get it started. So chapter 6. We start out here in chapter 6 and the focus returns to construction of the wall and these three attempts to thwart this construction by intimidation and intimidating Nehemiah and the workers that are here. So you get to verse 2 here, and Sanballat and Geshem sent a message to Nehemiah. And Nehemiah says, actually the message says, "Come, let's meet in the villages of the Ono Valley." And Nehemiah suspects that they're planning to hurt him. So he says that I sent a message to them saying, I'm doing this important work and I can't come. And they sent him the same message 4 times. Back and forth they replied 4 times. The 5th time, Sanballat sent the same message, but it was in an open letter and it also had something written in it. Not only was he trying to intimidate him here through these letters, through the first attempt here, this next attempt, this different attempt, was an attempt at blackmail. See what he says, you and the Jews plan to rebel, and this is the reason that you're building this wall. Now these rumors are going to be heard by the king, is what he says. So basically he's saying, look, if you don't stop building this wall, I'm telling the king on you. So he's trying to get him to stop through intimidation and blackmail and saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to do this. Or if you do this, I'm going to do this. So it says here, Nehemiah replied, there is nothing to these rumors that you are spreading. You're inventing them in your own mind. And then he moves on to this third attempt. There's a third attempt. Now it says Nehemiah went to the house of Shemaiah, and that he was restricted to his house. And this guy says to him, he said, hey, let's go meet at the house of God inside the temple. Let's shut the temple doors because they're coming to kill you. They're coming to kill you tonight, so we got to go. Now, if you think back to the old laws that we read about in Numbers about the temple, if Nehemiah had gone and entered the temple, he would have been executed, since the law only allowed priests to enter the temple. But Nehemiah is pretty sharp. He knew this. And he says here, but I said, should a man like me run away? How can someone like me enter the temple and live? I will not go. And he says, and I realized that God had not sent him because of the prophecy that he spoke against me. Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. He deduced this all from this conversation. And he was a pretty sharp guy there. So we get to verses 15 and 16. And in spite of this myriad of problems, that the wall ends up being completed in 52 days. Now the date of the 25th day of the month of Elul probably was October 2nd of 445 BC. We're getting closer and closer and closer to Jesus. Yes, we are. Chapter 7. Now, chapter 7, though the wall had been rebuilt here, the danger was not over. Now, Nehemiah's transfer of the gatekeepers from their position in the temple to protection of the city is kind of understandable because of all that they have been through so far. And to me, the mention of the singers and the Levites suggests that Nehemiah needed these very well organized groups to take part in the city's defense as well, because you've got Tobiah and his associates that are very well entrenched in the city. He needed people that he could trust, such as Hananiah, his brother, and Hananiah. So he was using these people. If you look at verse 1 here on your screen, it says, then it was when the wall was built and I had hung the doors, when the gatekeepers, the singers, and the Levites had been appointed. They all had been appointed. He had been delegating jobs that needed to be done to these people, even though it may not have been their focus, like the singers and the Levites. Of course, they were singers and performers, and Levites were like the priestly group. They weren't necessarily warriors, so to speak, but they're going to have to fill those gaps. They're going to have to stand in the gap like we had talked about before. And they have to fulfill their jobs to make Jerusalem good. We get to verse 5 here. It says, Then my God put it into my mind to assemble the nobles, the officials, and the people to be registered by genealogy. And I found the genealogical record of those who came back first. And I found the following written in it. And then we go through this entire list of all the people that had come back to Jerusalem in the first wave. So here we are at the end of chapter 7 of Nehemiah, and my takeaways here are basically, it's all about leadership. It's all about leadership and how you inspire people, how you delegate, how you get the big job done by doing the little things each and every day that need to be done to accomplish that big thing. One brick at a time is how each of these folks helped Nehemiah to accomplish this goal of rebuilding the wall and rebuilding Jerusalem. So, are you ready to do your part? I'm ready to do mine. How about you just hand me a brick and let's get started rebuilding the kingdom of God. Now I'm going to tell you, we're only 4 days away from Jesus. Even though we're in the year 445 BC, in our day, we're only 4 days away from Jesus. I can't wait to start talking about the New Testament in 4 days. I hope this has helped you in your studies. If it has, click the like button, subscribe button, and of course, click the little jingle bell so you can get notified the next time I upload a video. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for another episode of the Bible in 1 Year with the Preacher's Husband. We'll see you then.